All right, it's officially 2024, the new year on the calendar, and I'm just here to explain some of the reasons why David and I stopped celebrating the new year on January 1st and why we don't believe it's actually the new year at all. So first off, in North America, it's the dead of winter. The leaves are still falling off the trees, everything is going into hibernation, and everything is asleep and dark. Where newness is often associated with birth and growth. This is definitely not what's happening if you just open your eyes, look around, and observe. Secondly, I'm sure you've all seen this by now, but it is such a cool point. If you just take the names of the months and translate them from Latin, September means 7, October means 8. You don't even need to know Latin to know that this is just common sense. Octo, octopus, everyone knows it's called that because it has 8 legs. November, 9th month. November means 9. Novem, 9. December, Decem, 10. Again, you don't need to know Latin to make these connections. If you take math, for an example, a decahedron. It's a figure that, you guessed it, has 10 sides or faces. So, and if you look back to the early Roman calendar, for a long time, they only had 10 months in a year, and they had 8 days a week instead of 7. But of course, all that changed in the time of Julius Caesar when we moved to the 12-month model. And at one point in time, the 13-month calendar was actually proposed, but unfortunately, it was never adopted. But this is personally what I believe to be the true calendar year, where we would have 13 months consisting of 28 days each, because 28 days is the normal cycle for most women, and 28 days is exactly how long it takes for the moon to make one orbit around the Earth. But what's really crazy about all of this is when you start to break it down and look at modern day astrology and the zodiac signs. That's when you start to see how far off we really are. Where Western astrology, aka tropical astrology, is what most of us go by these days, having, as you're already aware, 12 zodiac signs, which is based on the Gregorian calendar, which replaced the old Julian calendar and is now the most prominent system used today in most parts of the world. Noting this system was originally created by Pope Gregory XIII so that it can be utilized for tax purposes and is not at all based on astronomical placements or Earth cycles. And if you don't believe me, then just look up at the sky. What you might find will surprise you. For the sun's path actually travels through 13 constellations, not 12. Here is a visual so that you can see. All credit goes to Celestial Healing 444 on Instagram. I've been following her for a while to get the true updates on astrological placement and energy predictions. So showing us here that if you are really following what the stars and planets are doing in the sky, there should clearly be 13 zodiac signs and not 12. Which is why I believe we should also have 13 calendar months and not 12. And so many people will tell you right now, oh, it's January 1st, 2024. The moon is in Virgo and the sun is in Capricorn. Even look it up online, and that's exactly what Google will tell you too. But if you go outside and look up at the actual sky, do it right now, I dare you. Download the Night Sky app if you're unfamiliar with the constellations and take a look for yourself. You will clearly see that the sun is currently in Sagittarius, not Capricorn. And the moon right now is in Leo, not Virgo. It's like we've been fed lies for so long, even though the truth is right in front of our eyes, we refuse to see it. So 13 is truly a magical number, but of course it has been fed to us that it is unlucky and to be feared, causing us to not really know what's going on astrologically, and severing us further from our universal alignment and divinity, keeping us in this inorganic matrix of time and timeline. Western astrology and the Gregorian calendar really has us all in this state of mass psychosis, which is a loss of contact with reality, keeping us anchored in this illusion. And so because the calendars and dates have been changed so many times, we're living in this twisted reality, which is a complete misrepresentation of where the planets actually are. And honestly, one of the biggest illusions that so many people believe right now is that we have already entered into the age of Aquarius. But again, this is simply not true and won't happen for about another 18 years. Hello, 2042. I do have more information on this and how that can be determined. I just didn't really plan on going this far down the rabbit hole, so if you have any questions about that, please reach out directly. I really just wanted to hop on here and point out how backwards and upside down some of the things that we believe to be true and we've just accepted so blindly are hindering our growth. Ascension means to raise in awareness and consciousness. And how can we do that if we aren't questioning the very things that feel so out of alignment, like celebrating the new year in the middle of winter, or celebrating the new year in 24 different time zones across the world in one exact moment at midnight, but that happens at a different time for each of us. And just to take it further, what is celebrating the new year exactly? How do most people celebrate? Usually it's by drinking alcohol. I know, looking back to all of my previous years, I would literally force myself to go out every New Year's Eve just based on my own fear of missing out. It's like, oh, everyone has plans, so I need to go out too. And then after a week of eating like crap over the Christmas holidays, I would get ready and go and drink my face off and ring in the new year, waking up feeling like absolute garbage. But it can't all be by design, can it? Why would anyone purposely want to keep us vibrating in such a low frequency? Question everything, my friends. So now, everything is so messed up time-wise and calendrically, it's really difficult to say when exactly the new year begins. But spring definitely feels like new beginnings. Everything in nature is budding and blooming. And many people I know are beginning to celebrate the new year on spring equinox, which falls on March 19th. But going back to astrology and the sun signs and breaking down the zodiac, we know that Pisces is always the last sign and Aries always marks the first sign. So analyzing what we know now and using the true sidereal 13 zodiac signs, you can see here that Aries, new Aries, would begin on April 19th. So I would say if you really want to celebrate the new year, doing it between the 19th of March and the 19th of April would be a really good bet. We personally like to do it on April 1st, otherwise known as April Fool's Day, because we believe this day exists in the first place because they really have had us fooled for so long, and it's just a day where deception and trickery is really encouraged. So let's take back the beginning of our new cycle, not by drinking and purposely trying to fool each other, but by being mindful and setting intentions and using this time to connect with God, ourselves, and this divine planet that we all reside. Let this day serve as a reminder to love one another and to continue to seek truth in a world where it has been hidden from us for so long. And the only reason it will remain hidden any longer is through our own ignorance. So let us all be the change we wish to see. And just to clarify, I'm not condemning anyone who chooses to celebrate the new year at this time. I think it's amazing to look back and reflect on all the growth that we've achieved. And as always, there is no judgment. People are always going to do what feels right to them, and all the power to them. There is definitely no right or wrong way. I just wanted to explain why, for David and I personally, we feel less and less aligned to participate in any mainstream holidays, for the simple reason of asking ourselves, why are we doing it? And if the answer is because everyone else is doing it, then I just automatically feel much more inclined to run the other way, simply because we're over here trying to be leaders of the new earth, not followers. I appreciate all of you who stopped by and took the time to receive this message. We are sending love, blessings, and awareness to you all. And I just want to quickly let you know that our next global meditation will be taking place on January 11th at 7 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. MST, 10 p.m. ET. On that day, it will be a new moon, and it will be the 111 portal. So we hope to feel your energy there with us. But until then, towards the light we go.